You wake up at 70 and for a moment, just a moment, you forget how old you are. Then you swing your legs out of bed and your knees remind you. You catch your reflection passing the bathroom mirror and your face tells the truth. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice whispers, "Is this all that's left? The same aches, the same worries, the same slow decline day after day." It's a weight many carry in these years, the feeling that life has become a loop, that renewal is something that happened to you when you were young, but now you're simply managing what remains. But here's what the Buddha understood, that changes everything. You don't become new by becoming someone else. You become new by releasing who you think you are, again and again each morning. He taught that every single day offers rebirth, if you know how to receive it. Not dramatic transformation. Daily renewal, not fixing what's broken, practicing what makes you whole. In the next 30 minutes, I'll share 8 Buddhist practices that renew your body, your heart, and your hope. Not someday, tomorrow morning. Stay with me. Practice 1. Release yesterday's identity each morning. Have you noticed how exhausting it is to keep being who you used to be? The successful professional, the devoted mother whose children needed her every moment, the one who could do it all without asking for help, the person everyone relied on. Those versions of you served their purpose. They carried you through decades of living. But here's the truth. The Buddha spoke 2,500 years ago. Let go of what has passed. Let go of what may come. Let go of what is happening now. Don't try to find anything. Just let it go. He wasn't telling you to forget your life. He was offering you freedom from carrying it. In Buddhist teaching, this is called anatta, the truth of non-self. You are not a fixed thing. You're not the person you were at 30 or 50 or even yesterday. Identity is like water, constantly flowing, constantly changing shape. The suffering comes when you try to freeze that water, to stay who you once were. Think about it. The you who raised small children no longer exists. Those children are grown, living their own lives. The you who climbed the career ladder, who worked 60-hour weeks, who proved yourself again and again, that person served a purpose in that season. But this is a different season. There's a beautiful Buddhist parable about a raft. A man uses a raft to cross a dangerous river. When he reaches the other shore, should he carry that raft on his back for the rest of his journey? Of course not. The raft served its purpose. It helped him cross. But now it would only be a burden. Your past identities are like that raft. They got you here. They served you well, but you don't have to carry them into every new morning. I once knew a woman named Margaret, 74, who spent the first hour of every day trying to be the person she was at 40. The sharp executive who ran meetings with precision. The woman who never showed weakness. Even though she'd been retired for 9 years, she woke up each morning armored in that old identity, exhausted before the day even began. Her shoulders stayed tight, her jaw clenched. She moved through her quiet house, as if she still had a boardroom to command, decisions to make, people depending on her leadership. But there was no boardroom, no team, just her, a cup of coffee, and the weight of who she used to be. Then she discovered a simple Buddhist practice at a weekend retreat. Each morning, she would sit quietly at her kitchen table and ask herself, what old version of myself am I still carrying today? She'd breathe deeply, visualize that identity like autumn leaves in her hands, and on the exhale, let them scatter on the wind. Then she'd whisper, I am not who I was. I am who I am becoming. The first week, nothing seemed to change, but by the second week, something shifted. The tightness in her shoulders eased. The pressure to perform for no one dissolved. She found herself moving slower, breathing deeper, noticing the morning light across her kitchen counter, something she'd never seen in all those years of rushing. She told me months later, "I didn't know how heavy those old selves were until I finally set them down. I thought letting go meant losing something, but it meant finding myself again." This is the power of anatta. When you stop clinging to fixed identity, you discover something underneath, the awareness that has been there all along, unchanged, watching all your life's transformations with quiet constancy. Practice 2. Welcome change in relationships as natural flow. There's a particular loneliness that comes with age. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of watching people drift away. The friend who used to call every week now texts once a month. Your daughter's life is so full that your conversations feel rushed, distracted. The neighbors you once knew have moved away, replaced by strangers who nod politely but never stop to talk. And you wonder, is it me? Did I do something wrong? Have I become someone people no longer want to know? The Buddha taught a truth that feels hard at first, but becomes liberating. All conditioned things are impermanent. They are subject to change. Work out your own salvation with diligence. What he meant is this: everyone and everything in your life is like a river. Some people flow beside you for miles. Others are only in your current for a season. Some disappear around bends, and new companions appear from tributaries you didn't know existed. This isn't rejection. This is the nature of existence itself. What Buddhists call anatta, impermanence. The teaching that nothing stays the same, including the people we love. Resisting this truth creates suffering. You grip tighter, call more often, wonder why they've changed. But the truth is, they haven't changed any more than you have. Life is simply flowing as it must. Children grow into their own lives. Friends move or pass away. Some relationships that once felt essential slowly fade, like photographs left in sunlight. But accepting this truth, that creates space for something beautiful, the ability to love what's here while it's here, and release what's ready to flow away without bitterness. The river doesn't ask permission to bring you new water, it just flows. Your life is the same. Some companions travel with you for decades. Others appear for a conversation, a season, a shared moment that changes you and then moves on. All of it is the natural rhythm of existence. When you stop resisting the flow, when you practice metta, loving kindness, for both those arriving and those departing, something shifts. Your heart becomes spacious enough to hold it all. The grief of goodbye, the warmth of hello. The understanding that every person who crosses your path, however briefly, is a gift. Think of your life as a great river journey. In your 20s, you traveled with one group of companions. In your 40s, some stayed, some left. New ones arrived. Now in your 70s, the current looks different again. Some of your oldest friends are still beside you. Others have faded into memory. And perhaps, if you're open, new souls are appearing. The woman at the library, the man at the farmer's market, the neighbor who finally smiled back. The practice isn't to cling or to close your heart. The practice is to remain open. To say yes when life offers connection. To say goodbye with grace when someone's current takes them elsewhere. To trust that the river knows where it's going, and your job is simply to keep flowing. Practice 3. Honor your body, a sacred temple through nourishment. Let me ask you something. When did you start seeing your body as the enemy? Was it when the knees began aching? When the reflection in the mirror no longer matched the image in your mind? When simple tasks that used to be effortless suddenly required planning, pacing, rest, many people at 70 treat their bodies like broken machines, something to be endured, managed, resented. Every ache is a betrayal. Every limitation is a loss. The body that once carried you through marathons, childbirth, dancing until midnight, now moves with caution, complains with pain, reminds you constantly that it's not what it used to be. But the Buddha taught something radically different. To keep the body in good health is a duty, otherwise we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear. Not a burden, a duty. Not an enemy, a temple. This is Samma Kammanta, right action in Buddhist teaching. Part of right action is caring for this temporary vessel you've been given, not because you worship the body, but because it enables everything else, your ability to sit in meditation, to walk in nature, to embrace someone you love, to be present for this precious human life. In Buddhist monasteries, meals are treated as medicine, not pleasure, not punishment, medicine. Every bite is chosen to nourish, to sustain, to honor the body's needs. Monks eat mindfully, slowly, gratefully, understanding that food is what allows them to continue their practice. They don't eat to feel full or to satisfy cravings. They eat to maintain the health that makes spiritual practice possible. When you begin seeing food as sacred fuel rather than reward or restriction, something transforms. The fiber-rich vegetables become gifts to your digestive system. The whole grains become energy for your cells. The legumes and fruits become medicine that reduces inflammation, supports your heart, keeps your mind clear. This isn't about deprivation. It's about honoring the body that has carried you through 70 years of living. Every meal is a choice. Do I nourish this temple, or do I fill it with what tastes good in the moment, but leaves me depleted an hour later? Before each meal, try this practice that Buddhist monks have used for centuries. Place your hand on your heart, feel it beating, this faithful companion that has kept you alive through every moment of your life. Take one slow breath, then say aloud or silently, I nourish this body with gratitude. This simple phrase shifts everything. Suddenly you're not eating out of habit or emotion. You're making a conscious choice to care for the vessel. You notice what you put on your plate. You slow down enough to taste. You feel gratitude for food, for the earth that grew it, for the body that will transform it into energy. As you eat, practice true mindfulness. Put down your fork between bites. Taste each mouthful fully. Notice texture, the crispness of an apple, the creaminess of yogurt, the earthiness of beans. Notice flavor, sweet, bitter, savory, complex. Notice how your body feels as you eat, the satisfaction, the nourishment settling into your cells. This is loving kindness meditation for your own body, not forcing it to be different, not punishing it for aging, simply honoring it, caring for it, speaking to it with tenderness. You have carried me this far. Let me carry you now with compassion. Practice 4. Cultivate strength as moving meditation. You've probably heard the voice, the one that whispers, "You're too old for that." That's for younger people. Just accept your limitations. It's everywhere. In doctors' offices where they tell you to take it easy. In well-meaning family members who rush to help before you've even asked. In the relentless cultural message that aging means weakening, slowing, accepting decline as inevitable. But the Buddha taught the middle way, not punishing the body with extreme asceticism, not neglecting it through indulgence, but honoring it through balanced effort. What he called samma vayama, right effort. Strength isn't vanity at 70. It's freedom. The strength to rise from a chair without assistance, to carry your own groceries, to walk without fear of falling, to climb stairs, to garden, to play with grandchildren, to maintain the independence that allows you to live on your own terms. Every pound of muscle you maintain, every bit of mobility you cultivate, is a spiritual practice. Because mobility equals freedom, and freedom equals the ability to live your dharma fully, without dependence stealing your dignity before it's necessary. In Buddhist monasteries, even the eldest monks practice gentle movement daily, not to build impressive physiques, to stay present in their bodies, to honor the vessel, to maintain the strength that allows them to serve, to sit in meditation without pain, to walk mindfully, to bow with reverence. They understand something our culture has forgotten. The body was meant to move, not run marathons necessarily, not lift heavy weights, but move with intention, with awareness, with the understanding that a body in motion stays alive longer than a body at rest. You might start with something simple: wall push-ups, standing arm's length from a wall, leaning in, pushing back. It feels almost too easy at first, but that's the point. You're not trying to prove anything. You're simply reminding your muscles they're still capable. Or gentle squats, using a chair for support, lowering yourself partway down, rising back up. Each repetition is a conversation with your body. Can you still do this? Yes? Can you do it again? Yes? And again? Yes? Or walking with intention, feeling each step, each breath, each moment of your body, moving through space with strength and balance and grace. The goal isn't perfection, it's practice. Not grasping at youth, but honoring what is. Not comparing yourself to who you were at 40, but celebrating what your 70-year-old body can still do when you ask it gently, patiently, with respect. With each movement, you're saying, I am here, I am alive, I am capable. And in that daily practice, strength remembers itself. Muscles that were fading wake up again. Balance that was wavering steadies. The body that you thought was finished reveals it still has gifts to give. This is Sama Vayama, right effort. Not too much, not too little. Just enough to honor the temple. Just enough to maintain the freedom that makes everything else possible. Practice 5. Express gratitude to your partner as metta. Practice. After 40, 50, 60 years together, something dangerous can happen. Not dramatic, quiet. The words stop coming, not the harsh words, the tender ones. You assume they know you love them. You assume they feel appreciated. After all, you're still here, aren't you? Still sharing the bed, the meals, the mundane routines of life. Still tolerating their habits, forgiving their flaws, showing up day after day. But here's what the Buddha understood about metta, loving kindness. It must be practiced, not just felt, practiced. Like any Dharma teaching, love grows through intention, through expression, through the daily choice to speak it aloud. He taught, speak only words that bring peace, and speak them often, not grand declarations. Daily appreciations, specific gratitudes, the small acknowledgements that say, I see you, I notice you, you matter. There's a story in the Buddhist sutras about Kisa Gotami, a woman who lost her child and was consumed by grief. The Buddha sent her searching for a mustard seed from a home that had never known death. She knocked on every door in her village. Every single household had lost someone, a parent, a child, a spouse, a friend. And in that searching she understood, nothing lasts. Everything we love will one day be gone. The teaching isn't to despair. The teaching is to cherish what's here while it's here. To not waste the precious days, assuming there will always be more time, more chances, more moments to say what your heart knows, but your mouth keeps silent. How many mornings have you sat across from your partner in silence? Not angry silence, just the comfortable quiet of long familiarity. You read the paper. They drink their coffee. The routine is so established you could do it blind. But when was the last time you looked up and said something specific, something true, something that lets them know they're not invisible? Each day, every single day, speak one specific appreciation aloud to your partner. Make it sensory, genuine, particular. Not, "Thanks for everything," or "You're great," but "I'm grateful you warmed my car this morning," or "I love how you always remember which mug is my favorite," or "Thank you for laughing at my terrible jokes, even after 50 years. Watch their face when you say it. Notice the softening, the surprise that becomes delight, the way their eyes meet yours, perhaps for the first time that day, really seeing you. This is loving kindness meditation in motion. What you appreciate, appreciates. What you water, grows. And in a world that will one day separate you through death or decline, the daily practice of gratitude becomes urgent, essential, sacred. Don't let another day pass in silence. Don't assume they know. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now, this morning over coffee, before the day sweeps you into its current. The Buddha said the greatest gift we can give another person is our attention. Your partner has been beside you for decades. They deserve more than your silence. They deserve your words, your noticing, your daily reminder that they are seen, cherished, essential to your life. Practice 6. Connect through sacred touch and presence. When was the last time you truly touched your partner? Not a passing pat on the shoulder, not an automatic peck on the cheek before bed, but touch that said, "I am here with you fully in this moment." In long relationships, physical connection often becomes functional. A quick kiss goodbye that's more habit than presence. A brief hug that's over before it begins. Touch that checks a box rather than creates communion. But the Buddha emphasized embodied presence, the truth that we are not just minds floating in space, but beings who experience connection through the senses. Being fully present means being present in body, not just thought. There's wisdom in Tantric Buddhism that the West often misunderstands. It's not about mere pleasure or sensuality. It's about dissolving the illusion of separation. Two bodies, yes, but in deep presence, in sacred touch, the boundary between self and other softens. You remember, we are not as separate as we think. Consider the practice of the 6-second kiss. 6 seconds doesn't sound like much, but try it. Count slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's long enough that it can't be automatic. Long enough to actually feel, long enough for eye contact, for breath to synchronize, for a softness that routine has forgotten. Or the 20 to 30-second embrace each morning, not a quick squeeze, a real hug, arms fully around each other, long enough to feel heartbeats, to notice breath, to rest in shared aliveness, to remember this body beside you is temporary. This moment is temporary. Let it be felt fully. Make eye contact daily, truly seeing your partner, not just glancing in their direction. Let yourself be seen in return. There's a vulnerability in being truly witnessed, but there's also an intimacy that words can never quite capture. If possible, connect earlier in the day when energy is alive, not just exhausted bedtime routine when you're both depleted. Morning touch, afternoon embrace, connection chosen when you still have presence to offer, not squeezed into the last moments before sleep. Practice non-sexual touch, often hand-holding while you walk, gentle shoulder massage while they read, running your fingers through their hair. Touch that says, "I cherish you," without agenda, without expectation, simply because this body beside you is sacred and won't be here forever. This is metta in motion. Loving kindness doesn't live only in the mind. It lives in the body, in hands that reach, in lips that linger, in presence that witnesses the beloved, and says through touch, "You matter, we matter, this moment matters." Your partner's body, like yours, is aging, changing, perhaps not what it once was, but it's the body that has walked beside you through decades of life. It deserves your tenderness, your attention, your touch, that says, "I still choose you, I still see you, I am still here." Practice 7. Practice intimacy, a spiritual union. Let's speak plainly about something rarely discussed in Dharma talks: physical intimacy in later life. Many people at 60, 70, 80 believe that chapter has closed. That intimacy is for the young. That their aging bodies, with their wrinkles, their scars, their softness where there used to be firmness, are no longer worthy of desire, pleasure, connection. Society reinforces this belief. Intimacy in movies, in magazines, in every cultural message is reserved for the young and beautiful. As if pleasure has an expiration date. As if connection requires a perfect body. But Buddhist wisdom, particularly in certain tantric traditions, views physical union not as base pleasure, but as potential spiritual practice, a dissolution of the illusion that we are separate beings. Two bodies, yes. But in deep presence, in sacred intimacy, the boundaries soften. You remember the fundamental Buddhist truth, anatta, non-self. There is no fixed you and them. Just this shared aliveness, this temporary meeting of two forms in the great dance of existence. The Buddha taught the middle way in all things, not denying the body's needs and desires, not indulging them without awareness, but meeting them with mindfulness, intention, presence. Intimacy at 70 isn't about performance. It's not about matching what you did at 30 or 40. It's about presence, not about what bodies look like, but how hearts connect. Not duty performed at bedtime when you're both exhausted, but sacred connection chosen when you're alive and awake and present. Approach with Shoshin, beginner's mind. The ability to approach everything, even long familiar things, as if for the first time. You've been with this person for decades, yes. But have you ever truly explored their body with complete presence, with curiosity, with the wonder of someone discovering treasure? Explore with gentleness, with patience, with the understanding that bodies at 70 move differently than bodies at 30. Perhaps there's less flexibility. Perhaps there's more need for care, for slowness, for attention to what feels good rather than what's expected. Remember anicca, impermanence. These bodies, this moment, this connection, all temporary. That doesn't make it less sacred. It makes it urgent, precious. Every touch is borrowed time. Every kiss is a gift that won't last forever. Let intimacy be what it wants to be in each moment. Sometimes physical union, sometimes deep conversation with skin touching skin, sometimes simply lying together in silence, breathing in rhythm, feeling the aliveness that flows between you. All of it sacred, all of it connection, all of it dissolving the illusion of separation. Your body at 70 is not less worthy of pleasure and connection than at 30. It's differently worthy. It carries the marks of a life fully lived, scars that tell stories, softness that speaks of comfort, lines that map laughter and tears, and decades of expression. Let it be honored, witnessed, cherished by your partner. Yes, but first and most importantly, by you. When you honor your own body, when you see it as a sacred vessel, still capable of joy and pleasure and connection, you give your partner permission to see it that way too. This is the tantric teaching. The body is not an obstacle to enlightenment. It's a doorway, and intimacy, practiced with awareness and presence, is one of the ways we remember we were never separate at all. Practice 8. Cultivate daily hope. through stories of resilience. There's a heaviness that can settle into the heart in these later years. Not sadness exactly, more like dimming. You turn on the news and see only conflict, disaster, decline. You notice how many friends are dealing with cancer, dementia, heart disease. You feel your own body slowing, changing, reminding you daily that time is finite. And slowly, quietly, without even noticing, hope begins to fade like light at dusk. The Buddha taught something crucial about the mind. What we think, we become. What we feel, we attract. What we imagine, we create. This is Samadhi, right view. The understanding that what you feed your mind shapes your reality. Not in some magical thinking way, in the very real way that attention determines experience. If you immerse yourself daily in stories of decline, disaster, and despair, your mind learns to see only decline. The news shows you violence. The doctors speak only of what's failing. Your friends' conversations circle endlessly around ailments and loss. And gradually, your inner landscape begins to match the outer one, dark, heavy, hopeless. But if you intentionally seek stories of resilience, transformation, people who chose hope despite everything, your mind remembers that's possible. Human beings can endure. I can endure. There's a powerful Buddhist story of Angulimala, a serial killer who had murdered nearly 1,000 people. He wore a garland of fingers from his victims around his neck. Everyone believed he was beyond redemption, irredeemable, lost to darkness completely. But the Buddha saw differently. He saw someone capable of change, even at the darkest point. He approached Angulimala without fear, spoke to him without judgment, offered him a path. Angulimala became a monk. He walked the path of awakening. He faced the consequences of his actions with humility and practiced meditation with dedication. And in his later years, he proved that transformation is possible until the very last breath. That story isn't about murder and redemption. It's about this. No matter what you've lived through, no matter how dark it's been, no matter how late in life you are, hope is not naive. Hope is a discipline, a choice to seek evidence that resilience exists, that change is possible, that the human spirit is stronger than we imagine. I knew a man named Thomas, 69, who had sunk into despair after his wife died. The world felt cold, pointless, closing in. He spent his mornings reading news that confirmed his darkness. War, suffering, endless human cruelty. He stopped answering the phone, stopped going to the senior center, stopped believing anything good was possible. Then a friend, one of the few who hadn't given up on him, suggested a different practice. Each day, read or listen to one story of someone who chose hope despite difficulty. Not toxic positivity, not pretending suffering doesn't exist. Real stories of real people who faced what seemed unsurvivable and somehow found a way through. Thomas started small, 10 minutes a day. He read Viktor Frankl's account of finding meaning in concentration camps. He listened to interviews with people who'd lost limbs, lost children, lost everything, and still chose to build new lives. He watched documentaries about communities devastated by disaster who came together and rebuilt. At first, the stories felt distant, unrelated to his own grief. But slowly something shifted. He began to see a pattern. The human capacity for resilience is not rare, it's universal. People throughout history, across cultures, in every imaginable circumstance, have faced darkness and chosen light. These stories became my Sangha, he told me months later. Sangha, the Buddhist word for community. When I was alone in my house, drowning in grief, these people's stories reminded me I wasn't alone. Every human being who's ever lived has faced loss, and most of them survived it. Some even grew from it. His grief didn't disappear. Grief never completely disappears when you've lost someone you love. but the darkness lifted enough to let light in, enough to remember. Others have walked this path. Others have survived what felt unsurvivable. Hope isn't foolishness. It's recognizing the pattern of human resilience across centuries. Within 6 months, Thomas was volunteering again. Not because he'd moved on, he hated that phrase, but because he'd remembered something the stories taught him. Healing happens through connection, through service, through choosing to be present for life, even when life has broken your heart. Try these 3 practices. Perhaps you're wondering where to begin with 8 practices. Let me offer you 3 that work together like threads in cloth, each strengthening the others. First, each morning before you rise, practice Margaret's release meditation. Sit quietly on the edge of your bed. Place your hand on your heart. Ask yourself gently, what old version of myself am I still carrying today? It might be the perfectionist, the caretaker, the one who never needs help. Just notice it without judgment. Then breathe deeply. Visualize that identity like autumn leaves in your hands, and on the exhale, let them scatter on the wind. Say aloud or silently, I am not who I was. I am who I am becoming. This takes 2 minutes. It creates space for everything else. Second, before each meal today, place your hand on your heart and say, I nourish this body with gratitude. Feel your heartbeat. Notice your breath. Then eat slowly, mindfully, tasting each bite fully. This simple phrase transforms food from habit to medicine, from routine to ritual. Let each meal be a meditation on caring for the temple that has carried you this far. Third, follow Thomas's practice of daily hope. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day with one story of resilience. Read a chapter from a memoir of someone who overcame difficulty. Listen to a podcast interview with someone who chose hope. Watch a short documentary about communities that rebuilt after disaster. After each story, take out a journal and write one sentence. What did their story teach me about my own capacity? Let these stories become your inner sangha, your community of inspiration when you feel alone. These 3 practices, morning release, mindful nourishment, daily hope, take less than 30 minutes total, but they create a foundation, identity released, body honored, hope cultivated. From there, the other practices naturally unfold. The gratitude for your partner, the sacred touch, the intimacy, the strength. All of it becomes possible when you begin each day by letting go, honoring your body, and feeding your mind stories that remind you resilience is your birthright. Closing 8 practices. One truth running through all of them. Renewal doesn't happen in grand transformations. It happens in the daily, gentle, persistent choice to show up for your life with intention. Release yesterday's identity like autumn leaves. Welcome relationships that flow while honoring those that fade. Nourish your body as the sacred temple it is. Cultivate strength as moving meditation. Speak gratitude to your beloved. Touch with presence. Honor intimacy as spiritual union. Feed your mind stories of hope. These aren't items on a to-do list. They're invitations to live fully in the body and life you have right now. Not someday, not when things are different. Now, perhaps tomorrow you'll begin with just one practice. The morning release meditation, letting go of who you used to be. Or the grateful meal, honoring your body with intention. Or the daily story of hope that reminds you, resilience runs deeper than you know. One practice, one morning. That's how renewal begins. If these teachings touched something in you, I invite you to walk this path with us. Subscribe to Quiet Wisdom so Buddhist wisdom can continue to find you in the moments you need it most. More than 86,000 souls are already here, discovering that aging doesn't mean fading, It means ripening into the fullness of wisdom, one daily practice at a time. Before you go, leave a comment below. Which practice will you begin tomorrow? Just type the number 1 through 8, or share why it spoke to you. Your words create ripples that help others feel less alone. May you renew yourself each morning like the lotus that blooms fresh from muddy waters. May your body be strong, your heart be open, and your hope be unshakable. May you remember you are not declining, you are deepening, you are not fading, you are becoming exactly who you were always meant to be. Be a lamp unto yourself,